Yeah, just 1 minute. It's yeah, now it's 5:30. Yeah, we can start.
5:30. Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to everyone. I am Madhav Purohit, volunteer with Graceful Living and founder of R. Chanakya Senior Citizen Association, Kandivali. Graceful Living started webinars during pandemic as seniors at home were facing medical, psychological, emotional issues. Although things are opening up now, the main purpose of webinar is to bring various experts in the field on one platform, one common platform. Today, Graceful Living is holding its 24th webinar, and I have got the opportunity to moderate the same. Today, we'll initiate the discussion on the theme of this year's World Alzheimer Day 2022. The theme this year is Alzheimer's and Dementia Care. So our main focus will be on care and caregivers of this disease. We shall discuss in detail about these issues later on. About the other aspects, on 21st September last year, when the World Alzheimer Day was celebrated, the theme was different. The theme was no dementia, no Alzheimer's. No means KNOW. The theme then focused on importance of diagnosis. The reason perhaps was that hardly 10% of the persons having symptoms were only being diagnosed, and the rest others were not even being treated. I will therefore talk in brief about the disease and go with the subject. But before I proceed, I request Mr. Naval Pandol to talk about Graceful Living and its activities. Mr. Pandol, please.
Thank you, Mr. Purohit. Can everybody hear me? Mr. Purohit, very glad that you are moderating this session. I hope that we can see more of you as the time goes by, and I appreciate that you're giving so much time to this particular aspect of elder care, and I wish you all the best for the future also.
Thank you,
sir. My name is Naval Pandol. I am working with Graceful Living, and I'd just like to give you a small introduction on what Graceful Living, on dementia, and then let the rest of the discussion continue. Graceful Living is one of the branches of Tulsi Trust. Tulsi Trust is a trust which has been established in 1975 by the Chandrai family for the sake of looking after all the underprivileged in many, many sections of society. That is with respect to medical care, eye care, education, skills training, and now since the last 3-4 years, elder care. Graceful Living is one of the branches of Tulsi Trust which is responsible for with elder care and for looking after the elderly when they are really needing all the help and assistance we can give them. This month we have to observe that as every year, every September is Alzheimer's month, and we have taken this opportunity to and dementia care is something which we can explain to all our audience what it is, how it can be done, why it is important that we diagnose it properly and then accordingly treat it. So I'm sure the 3 panelists that we have, Dr. Prem, I think he will be coming in a little while. Mrs. Madhura Satam, who is a senior psychologist at Echoing Healthy Aging and has got plenty of years of experience. She will be able to help us and give us the benefit of her insights of how to treat and live with the dementia. The other panelist today is Mrs. Jaslin, who is working for Sahbhav Care, and who is also trained in this field. And she will also be talking about dementia, Alzheimer's, various forms of mental illnesses which need to be treated and diagnosed accordingly. So thank you very much for all of you for coming here and spending this much time. Without much ado, I would request that we start off and let's get into the topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I will now introduce the panelists who will be participating in today's discussions. The first one is Dr. Prem Narsihan. He needs no introduction because he has been with Graceful Living and with Jaslok Hospital for quite some time. He is consultant geriatrician and elder care specialist with Jaslok and is working also with Graceful Living. The other panelist, Jaslin Kaur Bhasin, she has done her graduation in sociology and psychology. She is working with Sadbhav for about 2 years. She takes care of residents, handles their mood swings, communicates with family. She enhances the organization's goal of improving the quality of life of seniors in Sahabhav. We'll be learning a lot from her. The third panelist in this today's discussion would be Madhura Satam. She has done masters in clinical psychology. She is postgraduate diploma in counseling psychology. She has wide professional experience. She has conducted online sessions and home visits with senior citizens having dementia, conducted training for caregivers for senior citizens having dementia, and her knowledge will certainly be of great use to us. With these three, we'll proceed further. Now, before we talk about Alzheimer care and Alzheimer care and caregivers and activities of some organizations, I'll talk in brief about the disease. Alzheimer's is the most common type of dementia. It is a progressive disease beginning with mild memory loss, which leads to loss of ability to carry on conversation and respond to environment. This disease, Alzheimer's disease, involves parts of the brain that controls memory, thought, and language. It is caused by abnormal buildup of proteins in and around brain cells. As the disease worsens, there would be greater memory loss, cognition difficulties, उनको सोचने में दिक्कत, विचार करने में दिक्कत, conversation में कठिनाई, not able to read, write or work with numbers. आगे जाके बिल पे करना, पैसे के लेन देन मुश्किल होती है, रेस्टलेसनेस आ जाता है, बिहेवियर में पूरा बदलाव हो जाता है, डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज दे आर नॉट एबल टू कैरी ऑन. Once afflicted with this disease, there is no cure. Here we must understand one thing, and that is every person is unique, and thus disease affects every individual differently. This is a very fatal disease. Now, dementia is widely used term to describe a group of diseases which affect brain cells. It is not a mental illness, it is a condition of the brain. There are different types of dementia, and Alzheimer's disease is one of them. Other dementia diseases, these have got some own causes. Dementia with Lewy bodies, vascular dementia, or frontal lobe dementia. Because of some symptoms, some common symptoms, the word dementia and Alzheimer's disease are used interchangeably. Now, Alzheimer's disease International is a global organization which has been doing a lot of work, including research in this field. World Alzheimer Day was introduced by Alzheimer Disease International in their annual conference on September 1994, and the day is being observed since then. World Alzheimer's Day is the perfect opportunity for us to bring awareness about the fatal disease and raise our voices and find new ways of fighting the effects of the disease. Having said about this disease in brief, I would like Dr. Prem to talk in brief about the myths around this Alzheimer disease, because that will certainly help in knowing more about the disease.
Yeah, so good evening everybody. सबको good evening. और बहुत अच्छा लगा कि वापस इस वेबिनार में मुझे आने का अवसर मिला. So I thank Graceful for this opportunity again, and it's nice to see a lot of familiar faces. And of course, good evening to Mr. Naval as well. So what I would say is, it should not be, ये जो है ना, हम हमेशा महीने के बारे में बात तो करते ही हैं, but we should understand one thing, that we have to think about memory loss and even Alzheimer's throughout the year. So it is just that कि इस महीने में September is known as Alzheimer's Awareness Month, and of course 21st September is the Alzheimer's Disease Day. So it is actually to remember those who forget, so that we can actually care about them. But unfortunately, क्या बहुत सारे myths हैं, and I would like to just go quickly onto them one by one. So the first myth is that memory loss is a normal part of aging. So जैसे जैसे आपकी उम्र बढ़ती है, I can understand that थोड़ा सा जो memory loss होता है वो जरूर होता है, but that is not a normal part of aging. आपको वापस याद आ जाएगा, you'll get to remember things again quickly. But in case of Alzheimer's, as Mr. Purohit just said, that brain cells get malfunction and ultimately die. So sometimes the person might just forget a road who's been taking for a long time, or even forget the path कि मतलब किसी friend का नाम या चेहरा ही पूरा भूल जाता. So that can also actually happen. Then secondly, I think Alzheimer's disease and dementia are the same. तो बहुत बार क्या होता है कि Alzheimer's disease and dementia is used interchangeably, but that's not the right thing. Dementia is an umbrella term in which Alzheimer's is a type. There are other types also, like how Mr. Purohit had just mentioned. So Alzheimer's is one type, I think one of the most common types. That's why it is, you can say, given a lot of coverage. But there are other causes as well. So dementia overall is having impaired memory, reasoning, thinking, behavior, all. And Alzheimer's is only a type of dementia. So do not confuse that Alzheimer's and dementia can be just loosely used interchangeably. Now then another thing which is very much worrying for a lot of older adults कि मतलब मैं भूल रहा हूँ तो मुझे Alzheimer's हो गया, मतलब अगर मेरा भूलना शुरू हो गया तो Alzheimer's मुझे शुरू हो गया. That is not the case. अगर आप भूल रहे हैं, if you're forgetting things but it comes back to you maybe in minutes, hours, then you're actually not going towards Alzheimer's. And people with Alzheimer's will not remember anything at all. So, and not all memory problems means you have a disease. You can work on them also, which we'll talk about a little later.
Then, Dr. Prem.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Prem, sorry to interrupt, but you know, the meeting might close in
I know. So I won't take that long.
No, please. Yeah, so in case that happens, so
I think we might have to rejoin, right?
Request all the to again log in on the same details, please. Thank you. Yeah,
Okay,
please go on.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think her voice was not clear for a moment. The meeting will maybe end in around 7 minutes. So you might have to just take the same link and re-log in. So we'll want you back, all of you, obviously, again. So as just quickly summing it up. So yeah, somebody in your family, if he has Alzheimer's, तो मुझे भी Alzheimer's हो जाएगा. No, it's not the case. If a close relative, parents, if they have, that doesn't mean you'll necessarily have it. But if there is a genetic mutation which has been passed down, then there is a chance. Then one of the very big myths is कि only memory loss is a symptom. कि मतलब अगर याददाश्त ही जाएगा तो ही Alzheimer's हो सकता है. ऐसा नहीं है, because the brain functions in a lot of other ways. Memory is only one function of it. तो इसमें क्या क्या होता है? For example, difficulty in doing familiar tasks, confusion with time, place, फिर relationships, space and objects में, driving जब कर रहे हैं समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि direction क्या हो रहा है, problems with writing, speaking, फिर poor judgment होना, mood changes होना, तो ये भी हो सकता है. फिर सिर्फ बुजुर्गों को अल्जाइमर्स होता है ऐसा भी नहीं है. देयर इज यंग ऑनसेट एज वेल, बट इट इज नॉट वेरी कॉमन. Now the most important myth which I should sort of, which hits the nail in the head, is Alzheimer's is not fatal. Alzheimer's से मतलब मृत्यु की तरफ कोई नहीं जाता, and Alzheimer's is, yes, it's a dangerous disease, but it's not fatal. It is fatal. Why is it fatal? I'll give you a very simple thing. Alzheimer's disease does not, I mean, I'm not trying to put you down or put negativity, but Alzheimer's disease does not have survivors. If once people gets an Alzheimer's disease, a lot of times people go into a plateau phase और धीरे धीरे उनका खुद का आइडेंटिटी भी जा सकता है आगे चल के. उनके ब्रेन सेल्स जा रहे हैं, फिर erratic behavior हो सकता है, loss of body functions can be there, and slowly and painfully it can take away the ability to interact with others, to think, eat, talk, find their way home, inability to connect socially with others. So please take Alzheimer's seriously in the sense that it's a disease which should be managed, it should be prevented. It is as fatal as a heart attack or a stroke, because ultimately losing one's identity, मतलब खुद को भूल जाना, खुद कौन है, दूसरों से बात नहीं करना, is as good as, I mean, not having a life. So one has to understand that and take it as seriously. And finally कि prevention and treatment नहीं हो सकता. नहीं, treatment है, but we are sort of obviously both pharmacological and non-pharmacological treatment, both is there, and it should be started at an earlier stage. And there are a lot of things you can do for improving brain health, which we would come later. But these myths are unfortunately generalized, इसलिए आपको समझ में आना चाहिए कि ये नहीं है. तो ये myth busting मेरे हिसाब से बहुत important है. Thank you.
Now, Alzheimer disease के बारे में पूरी जानकारी लेने के बाद अब हम अगले पड़ाव पे जा सकते हैं कि केयर और केयर गिवर्स के लिए जो आज ये साल का थीम है उसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा डिस्कशन ले जाते हैं. I would request now Ms. Bhasin. She is working with Sahabhav for quite some time and has got good knowledge about Alzheimer disease, dealing with them, dealing with the persons having Alzheimer disease. I will ask her one question. Firstly, what is Sahabhav and how it is different from other homes?
Firstly, good evening to everybody. I'm glad to be here representing Sahabhav. I'm actually very happy to be here, and definitely I will learn a lot. Sahabhav, firstly, is a combination of health. It is a home where we provide hospital facilities with healthcare, and we focus on their emotional well-being. So this is what Sahabhav is all about. Apart from their basic duties, feeding them, cleaning them, we do a lot. We do a lot to ensure that they're comfortable, they feel at home. It's their second home. We will definitely not say a first home, but definitely their second home. They're comfortable here. We want to improve their quality of life. That is what Sahabhav is, and that is what it is different from different homes. It's not somewhere that they have been abandoned. No, they have a different set of family over here in us. That is what Sahabhav is.
How do you take care of people having Alzheimer's?
Sir, there is no set plan as such. I mean, I cannot say that this is the protocol and we just need to follow that. We take certain things in account. We firstly talk to their families, get to know their professional life, their personal life, what were their hobbies, just collect a basic information about them. And then we just, make a plan on it. How do we, keep them engaged mentally, socially, physically, just to keep them there and keep them active. So that is how we work. I mean, there is no set plan that, there is a set plan put up and we just follow it. We customize it according to each person, every resident who's here.
No, but then Madhura, in your organization, echoing healthy aging, isn't it?
Yes, correct, sir.
What activities can help, do you feel, in caregiving?
So the activities are different types of activities. There are multiple activities which can be done, such as cognitive activities which help, such as brain teasers. Then there are activities as art activities which can be used, art, craft. Also, there are sensory activities which activates our five senses of the body and can help in stimulating our brain. All these activities help to stimulate the brain basically, and then beyond that also the research has shown that such activities have helped to improve the quality of life as well as the self-esteem as well as the confidence of the senior citizens with dementia. That's what has been seen as of now. These activities are helping in terms of the companionship. It acts also as a bridge between the caregiver as well as the client with dementia. In most of the cases, what happens is they lose the ability to have the conversation. So these activities can help us to have that conversation and try to be with them and give them that sense of belonging, companionship, as well as sense of achievement, which most of the times, as Dr. Prem said, that loss of identity that comes in, loss of confidence that comes in with dementia. These activities help to have that sense of achievement as well as a sense of companionship for them. It is the opportunity to connect with them, these activities. Even the musical activities have shown a lot of improvement in the clients. The client may not have a speech to talk about something, or they might, however, they might remember the lyrics from their times. That's what I've seen in my sessions as well.